Hello and welcome to another episode of AI Buzz. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Today we're going to be talking about a somewhat comical and at the same time unfortunate reality in the job market for the data field. One of the positions that this really sticks out like a sore thumb for is for data scientist positions. However, the job postings for a lot of other positions in the tech field are extremely ambitious in terms of what they want for an entry-level candidate. I think the issue is especially accentuated with data scientists because companies are still trying to figure out how a data scientist can even help them. I do think some companies sort of hear data science and think, well, we need to hire a data scientist without knowing exactly how they're going to help. In reality, if a company is trying to get a lot of value out of their data, they probably want to hire other positions first, sort of like a data engineer, to sort of set up that data infrastructure for then data scientists to pull that data, predict on, or analyze. What ends up happening a lot with the job postings for data scientists, though, with these particular companies that don't know exactly what they want, is they'll just throw 15 technologies up on the job posting and assign a random number of years of experience they want for each of those. A lot of times when companies end up doing this, though, is they'll have all these technologies up with the number of years they want you to have. Candidates almost never will have that exact number of years for each one of those technologies. So they might list something like Hadoop, Spark, Hive, Pig, amongst others, and say they want 5 years of experience with each of those. And hopefully, if they're requiring that many number of years, they're hopefully looking for a mid-level or a senior level data scientist. So while someone like myself, I've used those technologies, but I don't have 5 years of dedicated Pig experience, for example. I'm roughly familiar, but I don't have years of experience with it. And ideally, any job that you're applying for will have some sort of onboarding and training process to sort of take your familiarity with the technology and show how the company uses it. And that's where you're able to kind of pick up, the exact use case for the company and sort of refamiliarize yourself with that particular technology. So to illustrate kind of the issue with some of these postings, I have a couple sort of funny screen captures for you today. And the first one is from Reddit, and I'm going to post a link to this in the description box below. And this is really Exhibit A for the issue that I am describing. So in this particular example, on the left, we have the job requirement or the job posting. And on the right, we have screen captures from Wikipedia, which show roughly when the technology was initially released. Do you notice anything about the number of years of experience they require compared to when the technologies were released? Well, they literally want more years of experience with Spark than it's even possible to have at the time that this was posted. Spark was released in May 2014, as you can see, and when this was first posted, it was about 3 years ago, they wanted 5 years of experience. So this is the situation that we're in. Companies aren't really familiar with these technologies even when they were released and just kind of slap kind of a number on each of these that they want candidates to have. And, 5 years of experience isn't necessarily uniform across the board either. 5 years of experience at one company doesn't necessarily compare to 5 years of experience at another company. I would say that the sort of the difficulty or the projects that you applied it to matter a lot as well. And more should be taken into account than just raw number of years of experience. So I was looking through a lot of recent postings for this video, and it does actually appear like this issue is getting better recently compared to when I was looking for jobs probably 2 or 3 years ago, when it was really, really bad. And it seemed like almost half the postings were like this, where they'd have a bunch of technologies and slap a bunch of years on there. So it does appear like companies are sort of figuring out how to structure their job postings, and maybe they're understanding a little bit more about exactly what skill sets they want out of a data scientist. Really the main technologies for a company to kind of care about an employee having is some sort of distributed computing framework, some sort of cloud technology framework, and then a sort of expertise in a language like Python, R, C++, one of those. I would say if a candidate can check each of those 3 boxes, distributed computing, cloud, and expertise in one language, their skills are going to be transferable to almost any sort of tech stack. For example, if you're familiar with AWS, you might not know exactly how to use Google Cloud, but I would say a lot of that same knowledge is transferable because they sell a lot of the same products and have a similar sort of workflow. Another really funny example I found that kind of illustrates the point with the job postings is one for the website Fast API. So Fast API isn't so much a data science platform, it's more of a product that allows you to easily interact with different APIs. The author of this Twitter post, Sebastian Ramirez, he's lamenting that he's unable to apply for this job that he found because it requires 4 years of Fast API experience and he only has 1.5 years. Well, it turns out he is the creator of Fast API, and Fast API has literally only existed for 1.5 years. In his post, he also echoes one of the themes that I'm talking about, where we should really stop equating years of experience with actual technical skill. All right, so when you're sorting through these job postings, my word of advice to you is that if the posting looks interesting to you and you could kind of envision yourself working at this company, I would say apply anyways, no matter what the job posting really looks like. Maybe they kind of botched the posting. They, someone besides your actual hiring manager created it where they put years attached to these technologies. Maybe they didn't fully understand what the scope of the job is. I would say apply anyways. And then if it seems like the company is just really not having it together, you can always filter them out before you go too far into the interview process. And that brings up a really good point with the interview process, especially with your in-person interview with the team. Try to get a really good feel for how established the data science team is. Do they even have a data science team, or are they sort of cobbling one together? What's their understanding of where data science fits into the workflow? Is there data sets prepared and already ETL'd in for you to kind of query and go off of, or does none of this other data infrastructure even exist? So yeah, I would apply anyways and kind of filter them out as you go if you're lucky enough to get the interview, and apply if you even fall short of the minimum qualifications, because while they might want 3 years of experience, maybe you have one really, really intense year of experience with that programming language, and that could be equivalent to 5 or 6 years of experience in some other cases with other candidates. Remember, the worst thing that can happen is that you're going to get rejected. That's really not a big deal at all. Worst they can say is no. So you might as well try and throw your hat in the ring. All right, in summary, let's just say the data science job postings are tending to be rather ambitious. It's not the case in all of them, like I was saying. It does appear to be getting a little bit better. But just make sure if you're applying to jobs, make sure you have your mastery of technical skill down, and that you have experience applying that skill through different projects. If you get familiar with a cloud platform, that's going to help a lot too. Your knowledge is really going to shine through in the interview, and even if you don't have the number of years experience that they're looking for, you might still be able to pass based on your merit alone. If they want to reject you because you don't have exactly 5 years of experience with this particular technology, then I wouldn't even mark that as a loss. I would say that's their issue. Just keep working hard on yourself and control what you can control. Pass on those types of opportunities and find a new one. They are out there. I know it can be really frustrating to find good data scientist job postings, especially if you don't live in like a major hub. But just be patient. They are out there and they'll come along, and you're going to snag one eventually. Trust me. All right, that's about all I have for you today. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of AI Buzz. I really appreciate it. I'll be coming back at you very, very soon with more content out of the world of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Have a good day. Bye.